Good evening, friends. Thank you for joining Candid Meena every evening to follow what's happening in India and abroad. And thank you for sending me your useful comments and suggestions. If you believe in this channel, do hit the like button, share with friends, and spread the message. Our only mission is to bring you the truth and both sides of the story. Thank you for your support. We have Lalit Ambardar back with us. Welcome, Lalitji. We always look forward to having you, Lalitji,
Thank
because the
you very
moment
much.
I announce your name, there are so many people waiting to listen to you.
My privilege. I'm honored. I'm blessed. Thank you.
Okay. So, starting with the first point, it's regarding Vivek Agnihotri's epic response to Farooq Abdullah's remarks on the Kashmir Files. He said Vivek Abdullah had called for a ban on the Kashmir Files, describing the film as a hateful campaign. In his response to the Lok Sabha member, Agnihotri posted a sarcastic remark on Twitter, and he said, "Had it not been the Kashmir Files, then Hindus wouldn't have been massacred." Abdullah on Monday had also called out the Kashmir Files for misinterpreting the Muslim community. I told him, he means Lieutenant Governor, about the film also. I asked him if he thought it can be true that a Muslim will kill a Hindu and then put blood in rice and ask his wife to eat it. Do you think we have fallen so low? Our youth is full of anger and about how we have been projected in the movie. The injustices meted out to Muslims across the country are stoking passions among our youth as well. Such things, he means movies, should be stopped. The media which is spreading here hate in the country should be stopped. The National Conference president told reporters in Anantnag district. Yes, your response to that.
Uh, I heard it. I heard his statement on. I was the channel today during the day, and he spoke about what you just said. That are we so low, or that we could do all this? So I responded. I was very angry. I said, you have gone even lower than that. You have lowered yourself to even to greater extent to the nadir of inhumanity. What you did when you gang raped and cut Girja Tikku on saw machine.
Yeah.
You couldn't have gone. You couldn't have gone below that, lower than that. When you gang raped Sarla Bhatt, a nurse in the Institute of Medical Sciences there in Srinagar, and then his body was left on a dead body was thrown on the streets with Jammu Kashmir Liberation Front branded with cigarettes on her body, so they could go so low, and they could go even lower when they killed 80-year-old Justice Ganju in the broad daylight, and his body remained on the street for us. So they can go any lower. So I can remind you so many instances, and I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. You see, just one film, the Kashmir Files, has shattered this secular left liberal facade in one go.
Absolutely.
Just
Yeah.
I don't know whether it is two. It's not even 2 hours long film. It has shattered that facade, and it's good. So I also believe that this film has come, it has gone, it has made an impression wherever we could not reach in 32 years. It has reached. It's a very powerful medium, and it's making an impact because this film is not for me. For example, we Kashmiri Hindus, the survivors of genocide. They live these horrors every day. If I say we never, because there was again one school of thought. They said, why make a film now and open the wounds of Kashmiri Hindus? So my reply to them: we never allowed our wounds to be healed. In fact, we nourish our wounds every day with these gory memories of past what we have been inflicted, and we'll continue to do so till we get justice, till we return back to our union territory of Panun Kashmir in Kashmir. That's a promise. Until we avenge our every drop of blood that we have shed in Kashmir, every tear that has been shed in exile, using all constitutional democratic means available to us. That's a promise, including this Farooq Abdullah, who should also be tried in the tribunal because this covered Farooq Abdullah fled on that 19th January 1990. He was an elected chief minister of Jammu and Kashmir. I'm sure Kashmiri Hindu too had voted for him, right? And he left them at the mercy of the AK-47 wielding jihadists, and he fled Kashmir. And then also the then Home Minister of India, the first Muslim Home Minister of India, Mufti Muhammad Said, he should be tried posthumously. His role, he got his daughter released in exchange of those dreaded terrorists. And it's no coincidence. 19th January 1990 came just days ahead. So his role should be also investigated posthumously. Why did he go paralytic when it came to the protection of Kashmiri Hindus in Kashmir? So, Farooq Abdullah, I'm not surprised. I'm not
And
surprised by any
interestingly,
Islamist party of
yeah,
Kashmir. But
yeah,
ironically, these guys are claiming that the film is a propaganda, is a lie. Can you imagine? I don't know whether how many readers, many watch, how your subscribers know about it. There is no cinema halls functioning in Kashmir because
yeah,
I don't know how many of you have visited Kashmir. The Lal Chowk, the
no,
iconic cinema hall in the Lal Chowk is Palladium.
yeah,
Its ruins symbolize what Kashmir Jihad stands for. We had a very thriving cinema culture in Kashmir. At many times in college days, we used to leave one cinema hall, enter another, just show after show. So that was the kind of culture. You would see boys and girls, Friday, first show,
and also,
standing
and also,
standing in the queue, and no
yeah,
one would be
Lalitji,
wearing burqa. By the way, no one would
yeah,
be wearing burqa. That was
yeah,
also the time. But
yeah,
these guys are
Lalitji,
claiming they have seen the film, whereas there is no cinema hall in Kashmir because as per Sharia, cinema was banned in Kashmir.
and
And
also,
okay,
Lalitji, yeah,
huh?
don't forget the fact that who's talking? See, Farooq
Yeah.
Abdullah, who is so famous for going to Dubai, dancing in a drunken state with women from all over the country and going for golf, playing golf. Okay, this man who is always seen with a lot of butterflies is the man who's talking about morals and values and about ethics. And
Oh, that's the last
Islam
thing you
is
should
no,
expect from these guys. They are
yeah,
double forked. They are double forked Islamists of Kashmir. Delhi mein Ram Bhajan, Ram Dhun gaate hain, and in Kashmir they sing Rama's Bhajan in Srinagar, in Delhi, to
yeah,
befool the secular left liberal Hindus of India. And
yeah,
in Kashmiri, this guy is on record having pleaded the Hurriyat, the Pakistani stooges operating on the soil of India in Kashmir, telling them, "You're not alone. We are with you." And when he was campaigning for his election last time, when he campaigned for Lok Sabha seat, what was his slogan? What he campaigned on? हमारे बच्चे नौकरी के लिए नहीं मरते, हमारे बच्चे टूरिज्म के लिए नहीं मरते, कौम के लिए मरते. Our children do not sacrifice their lives for tourism or for jobs or employment. They sacrifice their lives for their qawm. Jinnah's two nation theory of nations, that's the qawm he is talking about. Jinnah's two nation theory, that Islam is
but
a nation.
but
This
then their children and grandchildren are studying abroad. All the
that's
separatist
so
children are
yeah, yeah.
studying abroad.
No one dies from the families of all these mainstream Islamic, be muftis or bin Abdullahs, even the heads of these separatist parties. Those who it's only from the downtown poor Muslim families who lose their children to this Islamism-inspired radicalization and they die. That's the fact. The poor Muslim families lose their children to jihad because for them also they indoctrinate them there. It's in the name of religion. It's in the name of faith. You have to kill the kafir. You have to cleanse Kashmir of Indians, Hindus. That's the tragedy. But themselves, their children all settle in every city of India and abroad. So that's again a thing. But also, let me tell you, viewers, this guy who's claiming to be, so peaceful, so candid in his expression about liberalism and democracy, his present sitting member parliament of his party in present Lok Sabha is Akbar Lone. He has been a speaker of Jammu and Kashmir Legislature Assembly. When he was just an ordinary assembly member, he raised the slogan Pakistan Zindabad in live Jammu and Kashmir Legislature Assembly before it became a union territory, right? And when the reporters asked him outside, why did he do this? He said, I'm a Muslim. I became emotional. And this Farooq Abdullah, this coward Farooq Abdullah, rewards that party member and rewards him with the parliamentary ticket. Now he's a member of Parliament of India, hoping that one day he will raise Pakistan Zindabad in the Parliament of India. Their relationship with India is only on the basis of 370 and 35A because that guaranteed them an Islamic emirate in Kashmir, right under India's secular watch on the soil of India. And with Pakistan, not a word against Pakistan because they're stooges of Pakistan and their relationship with Pakistan is Tera Mera Rishta Kya La ilaha illallah. La ilaha illallah binds them with Pakistan, as you heard here in Delhi, in Shaheen Bagh. They got together under the same Jinnah's slogan, Tera Mera Rishta Kya La ilaha illallah. And they are part of the same. And I don't know how they can claim to be the mainstream political parties, and they deserve to be condemned and exposed. I don't know what they should be in the main. His father, by the way, his father, Sheikh Abdullah, the original Islamist of Kashmir, who was given this emirate via 370 and 35, none other than Jawaharlal Nehru. And none other than Jawaharlal Nehru, having seen his Islamist tentacles and Islamist face opening up, he put him to in same Jawaharlal Nehru put Sheikh Abdullah in jail for more than 10 years. And I don't know why these guys should be roaming free.
And also, don't forget the fact that continuously Bollywood has been bringing films against Hindus. Whether it was Mission Kashmir, so many movies, everything that they brought was against Hindus. And that time nothing happened. Just one film, Kashmir Files, is enough to make all of you so upset.
I am so glad it happened. It shattered they shattered that facade they were holding, and they continue to, be it Kejriwal, be it these Islamist parties, be it Congress, everybody has been exposed because they call the genocide of Kashmiri Hindus a lie. And that's why I have been repeatedly requesting our Prime Minister, please acknowledge formally what Kashmiri Hindus suffered was genocide, put up a tribunal, and then none will dare deny it, because denial of genocide, as per the UN Convention on Genocide, is genocide, and they can be prosecuted for that. But I'm just waiting for this government to acknowledge formally that they do it. They don't have to do anything then. They only have to follow UN Convention on Genocide, tribunal, rehabilitation, everything will fall in that. Not following Congress in policy the way my boys and girls are suffering there. Their economic condition was exploited by Nehru and Congress led by Manmohan Singh and Sonia Gandhi, pushed them back into the very villages and towns of Kashmir from where their families were evicted by jihadis, were thrown out by jihadis, and the means of this genocidal exodus were rape, murder, and mass murder. And this government is continuing the same policy. That's the tragedy of Hindus in India. Even Hindus are being so insensitive towards the plights of Hindus.
Yeah. Moving on to the next point, talking about the unwarranted, says India, after Islamic Nations group comments on Kashmir. It hit out at the Organization of Islamic Cooperation for the unwarranted comments on the delimitation exercise being carried out in J&K. India on Monday slammed the organization for its unwarranted comments on the delimitation exercise in J&K and asked the grouping to refrain from carrying out its communal agenda at the behest of one country, in an oblique reference to Pakistan. India's strong reaction came after the OIC criticized New Delhi of the delimitation exercise in Jammu and Kashmir.
See, OIC, I don't think we should be bothered about. They are all dictatorships, all sultanates. They will not understand what delimitation is. Number one, I don't think any member of OIC would understand what delimitation process is, what election is, what democracy is. So that's one point. Second, they are a bunch of hypocrites sitting in that conference hall or conferencing online these days. They must be doing it, yeah, because they should be more bothered about Muslims killing Muslims in Afghanistan. Since Taliban have taken over, they have killed so many Shias in across Afghanistan, because they consider Shia Muslims, the followers of same Muhammad, the followers of same Quran, they consider them non-Muslims. In Pakistan, the Ahmadiyas, the Pakistan that is the agent provocateur, inciting these Muslim countries around the world in the name of Islam for Kashmir. In Pakistan, the Ahmadiyya Muslims of pre-partition India, they were instrumental in mobilizing funds and public for Pakistan in the name of Jinnah's two nation theory that Hindus and Muslims cannot live together. Can you imagine the irony of it? Those Ahmadiyyas are now considered non-Muslims in Pakistan. They can't claim even 2 square yards of land in a Qabristan there where Muslims are buried. So that is the irony of it. So IOC should be worried about that. IOC should also be worried about Shias in Pakistan. IOC should be worried about Muslims in Xinjiang in China. That's the largest living concentration camp of Muslims in the world. So they should be worried about that. They should be worried about Muslims killing Muslims in Yemen. They should be worried about how one of the oldest civilizations of the world, Syria, has been destroyed by Muslims, right? They should be worried about the destruction of Iraq, and they should also remember one of the butchers of Palestinians has been General Ziaul Haq, when he was employed by the King Hussein of Jordan to train their people in their army there in Jordan. In I think it was in late 70s, and he massacred Palestinians in Jordan. He's called the butcher of Palestinians. The OIC should be worried about Pakistan campaigning in the name of Islam, where Muslims are the way. Where forget about Hindus and Sikhs who have been decimated there. Their genocide has never ended there. Sikhs and Hindus there, but the Muslims themselves are being persecuted there. I think we should not take them seriously, but yes, an official level we have to convey to them, because there are some Islamist countries, not necessarily the people who run their country, they're becoming more friendly with India. By the way, the OIC members who are sitting in there, their heads, their head of the state of individual countries, they are the only friend they have in the world today is Narendra Modi. So this is just a hypocritical attitude, keeping that Muslim facade intact. Otherwise, they have realized the menace of Muslim Brotherhood and the pan-Islamism inspired separateness, because it's going to catch them, it's going to reach them also. They realize it now. They're giving up, beginning for Saudi Arabia, UAE, they're making friends with Israel. So that doesn't bother them anymore. So I think Pakistan, to please their last, your last, what you call obsequiousness amongst the Muslim countries is Pakistan. So they're just trying to please some of these Pakistani leaders in the name of Islam. I think we should be worried, but give them a befitting reply, show them the mirror, and that's the right way to do it.
Yeah. The third
And
point
by the way, this OIC people should know the only country that enjoys all human rights, all democratic rights, constitutional rights is only in India. Yeah. Muslims who, despite the fact, on 14th of August 1947, millions of India-born millions betrayed their motherland in the name of Islam, chose to follow Jinnah, formed Pakistan, the evil global geopolitical entity called evil. Today, if you trace any jihadi terror attack anywhere in the world, it can be very easily traced to Pakistan, directly or indirectly. So that those people who voted for Pakistan in the 1946 provincial elections, 90% of them chose to stay back. And they should be grateful to the Sanatan civilization of India that they have been able to accommodate them, to the extent these very people who created Pakistan stayed back, and they had the audacity to ask for Bhagwan Ram's birth certificate to prove that he was born there. They're still creating hurdles, Kashi Vishwanath. They create hurdles everywhere in India. So we're still accommodating them. These Muslim countries should be, at least in anywhere, if any of these Muslims, if they had gone against, anybody in their country had gone against the wish of the majority, they would have been hanged, lashed, and executed in their respective countries.
And also amazing is that, see, every time they fight against all this, suddenly a Shivalinga is exposed in some place.
That's right. And we're also proud that we have Muslims like Dr. Kalam. We have Muslims like Hawaldar Abdul Hamid, where Muslims, we take pride in Muslims like Ashrafullah Khan. I said it before, I don't get tired of talking about the guy. 5 baar namaz padhta tha, regular namazi. And he says, koi arzu nahi hai arzu to bas itni ki koi kha ke watan dal de kafan pe. And these guys do not utter. They are even scared. They are scared of saying Vande Mataram. He had so much of love for the soil of India, this Ashrafullah Khan. So these Muslim countries should realize, India, everywhere else in the world, Muslims are actually persecuted by their own Muslim governments. It's only in India where they enjoy all the freedom. Even Turkey, look what they have done to these Kurds in Turkey. How Turkey was involved in destroying Syria to great extent. Thank God Russia intervened. Otherwise, Syria would have been divided into a number of countries by these Wahhabi Sunnis who had, who tried to destroy Syria, because it happens to be a Shia country.
Lalitji, Happy and Hopeful says, today Sikhs have claimed Rajpura Mosque in Patiala is originally a Gurudwara destroyed by Muslims and mosque built on it. What do you or Lalitji have to say on this?
See, it's not there. There are some panelists on television I hear, why do you have to go back, and by how much? I say, if we go back the way they are, trying to question our faith, then there will not be a single mosque left, nearly not a single mosque left in India. But there are certain places. I wish on 15th August 1947, after having realized they had betrayed Mother India on 14th August 1947, they should have voluntarily returned these mosques and gurdwaras and temples back to the Sanatanis. They didn't do that, and they continue to deny the existence of it. So what they have done in there, this is a right thing to do. Sikhs have suffered so much at the hands of these jihadists all through. What gurus suffered. And by the way, reminding your audience, don't forget, 26th of December, Narendra Modi has given us a day. 26th of December has to be commemorated as the Maha Bal Balidan Divas. Please propagate what happened on that day. Zorawar Singh and Fateh Singh, how they sacrificed their lives. It was a self-sacrifice. Small kids who loved their faith. I said, no, we'll not turn as Muslim, and they how they were killed brutally. So we have to understand that Guru Nanak Dev was imprisoned by Babar. I was the other day addressing university students in one of the big universities in the country, and I asked him, oh, do you know that Guru Nanak Dev Ji, I call him Guru ke Guru, the holy Guru Nanak Dev Ji was imprisoned by Babar. No one knew it. So this we have to say. I appreciate there are especially the Gurdwaras. Gurdwaras have been the centers of resistance against these jihadis, like Somnath was. Like if you hear about what they did in Martin Temple in Kashmir, how it was desecrated, you will realize what is the importance of these temples for us. Ayodhya, for example, you can see Kashi Vishwanath, you can see Mathura. These were the symbols. Jihad is not only about extermination or annihilating the local population as it was directed against Hindus of India. It was also to destroy the symbols of Hinduism in India, the symbols of Sanatani civilization in India. That is why we are only claiming back those which are very, very important to us from our point of view, because Gurdwaras and temples are not just places of congregation. They are places of pilgrimage for us. They are places of worship for us. For mosques are only places of congregation, right? You can build it here, you can pray on the road, you can pray outside the mosque. No, for me, temple and gurdwaras have a very, very civilizational relevance to us. So you better, it's still time. You will win the goodwill of the people across country if you voluntarily return these most important places of worship, places of faith to Hindus and Sikhs.
Okay, moving on to the next point. India rejects the farcical PAK resolution on Jammu and Kashmir delimitation. India said the delimitation exercise in the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir is a democratic exercise based on the principles of extensive stakeholder consultation and participation.
You see, Pakistan, as I said, I maintain it's an artificial entity. It was created in the name of Islam, first country in the world that was created in the name of religion, in the name of Islam. And it has tried to sustain itself only in the name of Islam, right? So whenever they are in crisis, which they keep on having crisis almost on daily basis there. They have never had, some of their prime ministers have been killed. Amongst those prime ministers who wanted to wage this Benazir Bhutto's father, Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, he was ready to wage 1,000 years war against India, inflict 1,000 cuts on India, make India bleed for 1,000 years. He was also assassinated by the same military regime, Ziaullah, who killed Palestinians in Jordan. And then you had Benazir Bhutto again assassinated, and Musharraf is facing one of the charges against Musharraf is that. So it's an artificial entity. So how do they consolidate their public opinion? When Pakistan is imploding, it's imploding. Baloch people have, they should be getting liberation. They should be getting freedom anytime. Sindhis are up in the arms, and Hindus and Sikhs, they have decimated anyway. Pashtun Tahaffuz movement is a very strong movement which is wanting to get away with the line. What is that line dividing Pashtuns across? I'm not getting it. Just a second, I'll get it. Dividing Afghanistan from West Pakistan. So they are wanting to. They say the Pathans, the Pashtuns have been divided through this line. We do not recognize it. So Pashtuns are going away. By the way, ये जो दहशत गर्दी है, इसके पीछे वर्दी है. It's it's a military uniform that is behind the terrorism. That is a slogan by Pashtun Tahaffuz movement, Pashtun security movement, safety movement, Tahaffuz welfare, sorry, the Pashtun welfare movement. And they don't want to be part of Pakistan. They want to be part of Afghanistan, where they share their cultural and ethnic affinity. So they want to be part of that. So Pakistan is on the verge of implosion, and I'm praying that it happens soon, because it will, otherwise the agony of ordinary Pakistan gets prolonged. So whenever they are in crisis, and these days they are in too much of crisis, they're in huge crisis, because Taliban, this Pakistan specific Taliban, they are striking them across Pakistan. They just recently, and then Baloch are also striking them. The Baloch killed those. There was a Fidain attack against the Chinese there. Chinese have withdrawn themselves from there. China is the latest aka of Pakistan, is because that's the only country that feeds them as on this date, because Prince Salman has, even he's asking for the loan, he had given it to them. The Saudi Arabia had given it to them. Even Saudi Arabia doesn't help them. So they are on the verge of collapse, and also I hope government of India is working on it. I hope they are working on it. We must be targeting at liberating Gilgit-Baltistan, because that should be, I believe that is one of your strategic targets. The sooner we do it, the better. I think my people must be waiting for the right opportunity to strike. It is the best time when Pakistan is the weakest, when it's got internal, it's occupied internal wars. So we should be striking at them and take Gilgit-Baltistan. So at this moment, Pakistan is also understand, because they have shifted lot of jihadis since Taliban took over in Kabul to LOC. They are trying to infiltrate, and they are also sending the ammunition, the weaponry, using drones, dropping them in Punjab. This is in a public domain already. So it's only to create trouble in Kashmir, so that enhance that pan-Islamism inspired Kashmir jihad, to first thing, to consolidate Muslim opinion in the name of Islam in their own country. So when they're talking about Kashmir, they know India doesn't take them seriously anymore. It's neither 1946, it's not 1947, it's not even 1971. When you return 1 lakh prisoners of war of Pakistan, when you should have been trying them for crimes, for having committed crimes against humanity in East Pakistan. They should have been tried for genocide. We let them go. So it's not even 1971, 72. It's not even 1990 when Kashmiri Hindus suffered genocide. It's not even 2014.
Yeah.
It's post 2019 India. So here India does not care for Pakistan anymore. So they can keep talking about it. We'll give them a rebuttal. But I think ultimately we have to take our territory back, and Pakistan has to be split into as many parts as possible, so that the people of Pakistan actually relish freedom. And we should be helping them gain that.
Yeah.
I don't care for Pakistanis anymore. Now, I don't think anybody in Indian government anymore is bothered about what Pakistan says, but official level we have given them a rebuttal.
Yeah, thank you so much. I know your half an hour is over. So
yes, one thing to you,
Yeah.
please campaign for the Hindu boys and girls who have been exploited because of their economic condition and given jobs by Manmohan Singh in Kashmir. My tragedy is that the current government continues to follow the old tradition, using Kashmiri Hindus as guinea pigs, and India's continued secular experimentation in Kashmir. I want them to be returned back, relocated in Jammu province or anywhere in India, so that they can also live like rest Indians with dignity and honor. Otherwise, they are living a life of hell there. They're sitting ducks there. Let's build pressure on Narendra Modi, and also on local BJP cadre and Parivar cadre in J&K. They are so much in love with Islamists. They want to buy their loyalties, which is impossible. They are chasing mirage, and in the process, they are losing the support of nationalists in Jammu and Ladakh, Jammu and Kashmir. So I pray, and I need Narendra for the next 1,000 years. India needs Narendra Modi for next 1,000 years. God forbid, before his image is maligned, and other political vultures like Congress and local Islamist parties, National Congress, the PDP, they try to exploit the situation. I hope better sense prevails at the center. North block of Delhi is made to behave the way they must. They must realize there's a different set of ideology at the helm of affairs. India is a Sanatani resurgence that is in action. So Hindu interests have to be catered for. Hindu lives must matter. If not in India, where?
Yeah, absolutely. Well said, Lalitji. So see you next week. Good night, and thank you once again.
Stay safe. All the best. God bless you. Bye bye.
Yeah.
Thank you. Jai Shri Ram.